In lesson 4, we're going to finish up with XLOOKUP. I'm going to teach you a two-way XLOOKUP, also called a double XLOOKUP. This will allow you to look up a value across the column and a value down the rows, and you can pick from a matrix like you see on the screen there. All right, give me the subject and your grade, and I'll tell you what your letter was from a big chart. We'll do 2 examples of that, and then I'm going to give you some bonus material. We're going to turn on the developer tab, which is usually reserved for programmers and stuff. And I'm going to show you how to create a combo box inside your spreadsheet so that your user can just pick from a drop-down list, science, for example, as you see on the screen there, instead of having to type that in. So that's covered in this lesson. Okay, moving on to another example. I'm going to show you a two-way lookup. It's really cool. It's really powerful. Let's go to a new sheet here. And let's say we've got a list of clothing items and sizes, and each one of those has a different price. Okay, so let's say we got t-shirt, we've got jacket, we've got a hoodie, and we got a long sleeve. Okay, and each of those comes in various sizes. We got small, medium, large, XL, and 2X. And there are prices associated with each one. So the t-shirt is $4, $5, $6, $7, $8, for example. So just fill in some prices. Jackets, maybe 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. All right, the hoodie's probably in the middle somewhere. Let's say 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And the long sleeve shirt maybe is a little bit more than the t-shirt. So let's say 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so there's our prices. And I'll just clean this up a little bit here. Let's go right, justify. Let's give it a little color. It's easier to work with this stuff when you put some color in it. You guys have taken a lot of my classes. You know how I work. Okay, there we go. So I want to be able to look up by typing in the product type, so whether it's a t-shirt or whatever, and then the size. And I want to return the price. Okay, so right here, these will be my 2 fields that the user has to input. So I'll make those yellow and maybe put a border on them. And the price will be returned right here. So that'll be, well, I don't know, that color. And we'll put a thick border around it. Okay? So we're going to type in, for the type, we're going to type in jacket, and then the size, let's say XL. And I want the price to be right there to reflect a jacket of type XL. It should give me an 18. Now, how do I do that? Well, fortunately, we can use XLOOKUP's ability to return multiple values. Remember how we did that before? Remember right here with Bill Peters, right? We type in an ID here, and it looks up, and it brings back 2 columns. So using that, we can have it so that we do one lookup that returns an entire column, and then we use a second XLOOKUP to look up that value in the column. All right, and here's what it looks like. All right, equals XLOOKUP. This is the outer XLOOKUP. There's going to be 2, one nested inside of another one. It's kind of neat. What value are we looking up? Let's start with the jacket. Look up the jacket, comma, what's the lookup array for the jacket? It's right here. That's the lookup array. Comma. The return array, what do you want to bring back, is going to be some of this data over here, but we're going to look up the size too. So watch this now. Another XLOOKUP. Open it up. What's the lookup value? I'm looking up the size this time, comma. What's the lookup array this time? It's this, comma. The return array is going to be a mixture of the 2 of those right there. I know, it's a little confusing. This took me a couple times to get it to. All right. Close, close, enter, and there's my 18. It's crazy, I know, but it works. Basically, the inner lookup, okay, if you look at the formula, this inner lookup here, all right, looks up the size in this lookup array and then returns a value from this big giant array right here. That gets fed into the outer XLOOKUP, which looks this up and then finds the value in that returned array. Okay, it's a little confusing, I'll admit. It took me 2 or 3 examples before I got it. But play with it. You'll like this. If you do any kind of cross lookups like that, you're going to love this feature. All right, and you can very easily change this to small, and there's a 15. Or you can come up here and change this to hoodie, and there's your 8. Small hoodie, 8. This takes advantage of two features of XLOOKUP that weren't available before. It takes advantage of the ability to look vertically and horizontally. So you got a VLOOKUP and an HLOOKUP there essentially. And XLOOKUP has the ability to return a multiple list of values. So it can return, if it's L, for example, it can look in this entire list here and bring back 4 values. So those two features together give you the ability to do double lookups, two-way lookups using XLOOKUP. Let's do another example. And I like to do multiple examples because, like I said, it takes me sometimes 2 or 3 times to actually get it. So I'm going to show you another example. This time I'm going to show you an example similar to the grade lookup that we did before. But in this example, we're going to say, I've got several different classes. I've got math, I've got science, I've got English, or however many you want. Now, each one of these, taught by different professors, they have their own standards for what constitutes an A, what constitutes a B, and so on. Each class might be different. So you might want to say, okay, this class, math, I got a 76. What is the letter grade for that class? Okay, let's put the standards in here. So 90 is usually an A, right? 80, 70, 65, and then 0. All right, normally this is how it would go. So you got A, B, C, D, and F. Okay, now let's say the science teacher has higher standards. All right, in science, in order to get an A, you have to have a 95. All right, so we're going to have to add that value to this list. That's okay. So we're going to put 95 on here, which means we have to give a value of it for math, so that's an A. So A for science there, but a 90 is only a B in the science class. Okay, and let's say the rest of it's the same. D, and then F, again, for 0. All right, and the English teacher, let's say the English teacher has easier standard. Let's say an 80 gets you an A. So we can go A like that. 70 is a B, C, and then just an F. He doesn't give a D. Okay, so each course gives you a different letter grade based on what your actual numeric grade is. All right, a little bit of flair here. Let's go with the blue and orange. Right, left on that, left on that. Okay, so our lookup will be over here. We're going to look up the course. Let's say math. The grade, in this case, I got 92. And then what's the letter? Okay, and let's justify that. We're going to bring back the results and put them into here. Okay, so let's throw in our XLOOKUPs. All right, it's going to be a double lookup again. This one's going to be slightly different because we're going to use that thing that says show me the value that is, if it's not an exact match, show me the value right below it. All right, so this should pull back the value for the 90 because you need a 90 to get an A in math. All right, but I don't have a 95. All right, same thing with science. You'd get a B. Now, let's put science in here so we can make sure it's working right. Okay, let's throw in our XLOOKUP equals XLOOKUP. Open it up. What value am I looking up first? Science, comma, where's the lookup array? Where's my list of stuff that's going to be looked up in? It's right there. That's the easy part. Comma, for the return array, start your second XLOOKUP. All right, what value am I looking up? The grade, comma, where is the list of grades? Right here, comma, where's the return array where the two of those things mesh together? Well, that's this whole bunch of data right there. All right, now one more step for this example, comma, if not found is meaningless here, comma, match mode. All right, it's not exact match, otherwise you'd have to find an exact match there. I want the exact match or the next smaller item. Okay, that puts a -1 in there. Close it up, don't worry about search mode, and then press enter. Oops, there's a typo. That's just because I forgot to close my second parentheses there. I do that all the time. Except that, okay, it just auto closes your parentheses for you if you forget to put both of them on the end there. All right, so I got my B. Science 92 is indeed a B. All right, what if I get a 96? There's my A. What if I get a 68? I got a D. Right, that's correct. Let's change to English. In English, a 68 gets you a C. Right? Yep, that's correct. All right, what if I got an 81? That should give me an A. Perfect. See how that works? It's looking up English in this block right here. It's looking up 81 in this block right here, or the next smaller one. and then it merges the two of those together in that double lookup and looks in this block right here from B2 down to D7. Once you run through this 2 or 3 times, you really do start to get it. This is probably about the 6th or 7th time I've done one of these. I did a bunch of them practicing before class. Now, what if you don't want to have to type in English? What if you want to pick from a list here? We can make a combo box. Now, I'm going to skip ahead a bit because this is normally something that I cover in the developer classes, because this is going to involve the developer tab. But I love using this, and I haven't covered it yet. Actually, I covered it in my Upgrading to Excel 2007 course way back when, because I just looked it up in the outline and that's where I found it. But let's see how this works. Now, this is like a little preview of some of the developer material that's going to be coming up soon. I think right after this class, Expert 11, I'm going to jump up to Developer 1, because I got lots and lots of people asking me for VBA macro programming. And I'm pretty much out of normal stuff. I mean, there's some other stuff that's been added to 2019 that I might make another little lesson to cover, but there's not a lot. XLOOKUP is the big one. Okay, so where is that developer tab, you ask? Well, come up here and click on File, and then come down here to Options, find Customize Ribbon, and then right over here, click on the Developer tab. Microsoft turns that off by default because they don't want you seeing it and playing with it if you don't know what you're doing, which is smart. But now we're up to the smart guy stuff, smart person stuff. So hit OK. And there's a new tab right here called Developer with all kinds of cool stuff on it. And we're going to explore all of this in the Developer series. But for now, I'm just going to show you one little cool thing that you can do. Under Controls, find the Insert drop down here and pick this guy right there. That is a combo box under Form Controls. Click on that. Those of you who've taken some Access classes with me know what a combo box is. A combo box, draw it out here. Combo box is simply a combo, a combination of a text box and a list box. And you can click this little button here to open it up. All right, so basically what we have to do is give this guy, when we click this button here to drop this down, we want to fill this box with a list of all the options to pick from. In this case, a course, so math, English, or science. Then when we pick an option, it's going to store that value in this cell. Now, unfortunately, combo boxes don't work with data that goes horizontally. It's just a limitation. So we have to put this list over here too, somewhere else, just off the side, right? Math, science, can't type, science, S-C-I-E-N-C-E, and English. And you can put more in there if you want to. All right? So that's basically our lookup list. Ideally, if I were to do this again, I'd probably put the math, science, and English going down here so you can use the same list. And then just put the grades going across this way. But you get the point. Okay, so right-click on this guy and go to Format Control. Right here on the Control tab, there's a whole bunch of options in here, and we'll go over all these later. In fact, a lot of these you probably know. There's the size, the location, protection we've talked about. These properties are pretty simple. All right, alternative text. Yeah, I'll cover this in the developer class. The Control tab right here is all you have to worry about. The input range is where is your list of values to go in the combo box. So click on this little button right there. That shrinks this up, and now you can select your list of options. All right, hit that button there. Now, unfortunately, what actually gets returned by this combo box, the value that gets stored, is actually a number, the relative position of the item in this list, 1, 2, or 3 in this case. So what we're going to do is we're going to say for the cell link, this is where we're going to save the data that gets chosen in here. For the cell link, we're going to drop that value somewhere on the sheet, maybe here. All right, doesn't matter where, because we're going to hide this information, right? Okay. Drop down line simply means if there's like 1,000 options, you only want to see 8, and then you get a scroll bar. And 3D shading is just for effect. All right, so hit OK. All right, now click off of it, and now it's actually, you see the finger there? The finger means you're actually in pick mode. So drop it down and pick science. Boom. It picks a 2 there. That's the position of that item in the list. And there's a 3. And there's math. There's a 1. All right. Now, we can use our buddy index to look up which item that is in this list and drop it there, because then that gets used in the XLOOKUP. See how this kind of all relates to each other? So this is now going to be equals index. All right. What is my array? There's my array, comma, what row number to look up? That one. All right, look up item 1 in that array. Close parentheses, enter, and there's math. All right, so here we go. Watch, ready? English, boom. Everybody updates. See, there's my lookup. pick the value, it gets stored here, index, then looks this back up again. I know it's a little convoluted, but that's the way you have to do it in Excel. Again, another reason why I prefer Microsoft Access. All right, but now here's what you can do. You can actually take this guy, all right, right-click on it so you go into edit mode and just drag it and drop it right over the top of that, so you won't even see it. So you just do something like this. It's kind of cheesy, but it works. All right, slide it right into that spot. The user will never know the wiser. All right, you pick math or science, put in your grade, and boom, there's your letter. This stuff over here you can hide. Right-click, hide cells. All right, or hide, just hide. Right-click, unhide. We know how to do that from a previous class. All right, see how cool that is? All right, delete that. See, now, that should stay with the cell when you move stuff around. There's options for that. There's all kinds of other controls and stuff you can work with on here. List boxes and radio buttons and option groups and command buttons. All kinds of cool stuff. So hang on, and in Developer 1, I'm going to walk you through a lot of this other stuff, including the macro editor, the VBA window, and all kinds of cool stuff. So that's XLOOKUP. That's pretty much everything. There's a couple really weird advanced options, but you'll never use them. Probably not. I don't use them. If you find something that you want to learn that I didn't cover in this class about XLOOKUP, please feel free to post a note in the comments below, post them in my forums, send me an email. All my contact information will be in the review lesson, which is coming up next. Hope you enjoyed. I had fun recording this. It's been a while since I've done an Excel class. I haven't released an Excel class in a few years, and it feels good to get back into it. I've been focused mostly on Microsoft Access. But I haven't forgotten about all you loyal Excel fans.